Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about Greenland, this vast island of ice that has suddenly found itself smack dab in the middle of a global power struggle. What was once seen as a remote Arctic territory is now a huge strategic prize, with the United States, Russia, and China all watching it very, very closely.
So, how did we get here? Well, it all kicked off with these headlines that, let's be honest, sounded completely wild. The United States wanted to buy Greenland. But here's the thing, this wasn't even a new idea. Way back in 1946, the Truman administration offered Denmark $100 million for the island, calling it, and I quote, indispensable to the safety of the U.S. And boom, fast forward to today, and that exact same thinking has bubbled back up to the surface, sparking a major international incident.
The response from Denmark, which Greenland is an autonomous part of, was, immediate and sharp. The Danish prime minister laid it out pretty clearly. Look, the days of just buying and selling whole territories and the people who live in them are long gone.
But the feeling coming from Greenland itself, well, that was even stronger. It was this mix of outrage and just real concern. This whole thing created some serious tension inside the NATO alliance, and it left a lot of us asking, what is really going on here? So to get what's happening now, we've got to understand the place itself.
Okay, so to really get what's at stake, we first need to get a handle on the sheer scale and the reality of Greenland. Because despite its name and what we might picture in our heads, there is so much more to it than just ice.
And here's a fun fact for you. The name Greenland was basically medieval propaganda. Seriously. After this explorer, Eric the Red, got exiled from Iceland, he picked the name hoping, as the old stories say, that people would be attracted there if it had a favorable name. A bit of a marketing ploy, right?
And we are talking about a colossal piece of land. It is the world's largest non-continental island. It's more than 3 times the size of Texas. A huge chunk of it, over 4/5, is covered by this massive ice sheet, which is second only to Antarctica's.
But for all that enormous space, the population is tiny. We're talking fewer people than you'd find in a small city. That makes it the least densely populated territory on the entire planet. And that contrast has really shaped its character and its entire history.
And that's really the whole point. To the people who live there, the Inuit, this isn't some giant block of ice or a strategic asset. It's Kalalit Nunaat, the land of the people. It's their home, a place with a super deep cultural identity that's been built over thousands of years.
And that sense of who they are has been forged over a really long, really complicated history, especially its relationship with Denmark, which all started with colonization, way back in the 18th century.
So as you can see, it's been this slow but steady journey toward running their own show. It went from being a distant colony to a part of Denmark, and then, after 2 really important votes, it became a self-governing nation within the Kingdom of Denmark. Now they manage almost all of their own internal business.
But the biggest thing driving all this geopolitical drama today, it isn't politics, it's physics. The Arctic is warming up at a frankly alarming rate, and Greenland is ground zero for that change.
That number, it's almost impossible to wrap your head around. That's the amount of ice that's disappearing every single year. In fact, scientists have actually recorded these massive melting events where pretty much the entire surface of the ice sheet was melting. And this thaw is a real double-edged sword.
So what's happening is this chain reaction, right? Global temperatures go up, Greenland's ice melts faster and faster, and as it pulls back, it's uncovering 2 things: vast mineral resources and brand new, faster shipping lanes. And all of a sudden, Greenland goes from being a frozen remote outpost to a central hub for global competition.
And that brings us right back to today, to this incredibly high-stakes game where Greenland's future and its dream of maybe one day being fully independent is really hanging in the balance.
So for the United States, Greenland is just absolutely crucial for national security. You've got the Pacific Space Base, its northernmost military base, which is vital for detecting missiles. The island is also a key part of what's called the GIUK Gap. That's a strategic choke point between Greenland, Iceland, and the UK, used to keep an eye on Russian submarines. And now, with all its potential mineral wealth, it offers a chance to break China's grip on the world's supply of rare earth metals.
But here's the catch for Greenland if they want full independence. Their economy really depends on 2 main things: fishing, which makes up almost all of their exports, and a big annual payment from Denmark, which covers about 1/3 of their public budget.
So this is the fundamental choice facing the people of Greenland. Do they go all in on large-scale mining and foreign investment to finally become independent from Denmark? It could give them the economic freedom they want, but it comes with a huge risk.
inviting in the very superpowers they're trying to stay independent from, and possibly damaging the fragile Arctic environment that is their home.
So in the end, the question was never really, is Greenland for sale? Its people answered that loud and clear. The real question is whether a nation of just 56,000 people can actually forge its own path when it's sitting on what might just be the most strategically important piece of real estate of the 21st century.
अगर आपको वीडियो पसंद आया हो तो लाइक, शेयर और सब्सक्राइब जरूर करें।